We got what you're picking up, girl.
Yeah.
But just in case. Yeah. You
Yeah.
guys are very intuitive people.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we try. You know,
Yeah.
we listen to women on the show.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
One woman.
you're equal at least 2 women.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the one who said that.
Oh my god.
That's you, man. You got to live with it.
That's okay. I wanted to see you.
It?
Wow. Oh,
The consequences of that decision.
I was gonna say like we won't see each other for a week, so it's fine. But now it's just like I gotta live with this for a week.
This?
Over to you.
What are you talking about, you people?
What do you mean, you? What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean?
Another great movie.
Actually, what is it from?
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How
Yeah.
could I forget?
What's his name? It's Al Pacino. Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Yeah, Al Pacino. That's what I'm saying. With booty sweat.
Oh man.
Oh God.
But welcome. We are back with a Bards and Balladeers podcast.
Hello.
This is Oscar. I'm Kate, and that is Rio.
Hi.
Nice seeing everybody again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can't see you, but hopefully you can see us.
With my mind's
Metaphorical.
eye.
Yeah.
We
I
can
see.
see each other again.
Yeah. I don't see people. I see auras. And your chakras are alignment, by the way.
What do you do with auras if you don't see color?
I'm colorblind.
Nice. Like, what do you mean? I can see color.
I
Like,
don't see color. Well, that must make auras really difficult. Oh.
Everybody's just gray.
shades of gray. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's shades of gray, man.
Yeah.
You have a nice, like, light gray aura.
We're all pink on the inside, so I don't know why it's a big deal.
You'd have to actually go into like the computer gradations of gray. Like,
Sure.
What gray is that?
Have you ever played that game where like they asked you like which color is this color, and it would like you would have to have one color, and then you had to find it in a bunch of other colors to see if you can match the colors.
Oh,
yeah, it's like a little game. I
would have been the worst at this.
They start off easy, like it give you
Oh.
like one color, then 2 colors, and you have to pick other 2. You don't, and
I still.
She's like, did you think it was an accident that I talked about the gray? I don't want to deal
guys,
with
this
colors.
is a call for help. I'm colorblind.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with colors.
See, there actually was a game we were playing online, Ticket to Ride.
Oh yeah,
And I didn't know it at the time. I could not tell the light green and the yellows apart.
yeah.
I know. I had saved up so
Controversy.
many, it was either the light green cards or the yellow cards. And then I went to go place them down, and everybody was like, that's not
right.
the same color.
Mm.
I haven't talked about it much since.
That's why you love Ticket to Ride. Yeah.
Honestly, that might be one reason
It's
why I'm like a
probably
little
why.
like burned from it.
You have trauma,
I
I
worked so hard to get all those trains.
It would be more funny if they were all different colors, and we're like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. That's how the rainbow
God.
works, right?
Yeah, rainbow train. You just have to get one of each color. We should make that a rule now. Like if you get one of every color, it's considered a rainbow
It
train.
counts
It's
as
wild.
it. Yeah,
Wild,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Bards and Balladeers, guys.
We're gonna say out in the world.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our
Welcome to out in
podcast
the
name
We're
world.
now.
out there.
Somebody probably already took it though.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking.
It's so hard to
Yeah,
Yeah.
come up with names.
I was looking for our podcast, which is now on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, iTunes,
iHeartRadio.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Mhm.
and
I remember that one.
Amazon Music. Yeah, I told you to say it, but then I totally took it from you. But I like looked this. I was like, I find it so I can link it to our website.
Yeah.
And then there was another one was like Christmas Bards and Balladeers. Like, who the hell are you guys? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, you seasonal jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're also we've created a Discord now, so that's our sort of a forum where you can get a hold of us, deal with us, interact with us live. We can do video calls.
Yeah.
Streaming,
all kinds of discussion we can have on there.
Yeah.
You don't need an app. You can just access it on your computer if you want, but
App's nice though.
Apps is good.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
we have both because we're
techie.
we're with it that way. Sure. Me with my notebook, my physical notebook here.
That's your
Tangible.
offline Discord.
Yeah, that's what I call it. That's what I refer to it as. How did you know? This is my offline Discord.
No, it's just Discord. If you've seen
it's discombobulation. But yeah. So what are we're talking about this week?
Today?
Oh, it's limited perspectives, isn't it?
Yes,
the things you do not see.
Yes. The things you don't see or the things you see differently or whatever.
intentionally or unintentionally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was thinking, I did a panel on this a while back.
You do a lot of
and
panels.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do at conventions, and a lot of the time it beats just standing behind a table waiting for people. Yeah. It's like, no, I'll go entertain some people, and then maybe they'll follow me and buy my stuff.
Yeah, and it happens. Yeah, it actually is a good way to do stuff. And everything. You actually got me into doing panels too. Yeah. Like you broke my panel cherry. Oh, you're happy.
Yeah, I'd like to break all the cherries. Wait, no. But
so I figured now.
It's useful to do panels especially when you're not someone who puts out a new book every time, like every year or every show or whatever. Some people are beasts with that, but for me, it's like, I have the same books, so why don't I just educate more people on what I'm about or what my thought process is, and they'll think, I liked what he had to say. I'll probably like what he has to write, etc.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't like my cats miss me when I'm away at those shows and stuff.
Sure.
And, I always come home to this giant cloud of cat fur. Like I have one of my cats doesn't know how to groom properly.
Oh,
I've actually figured out, I've had people say that my cats shed more than any cats they've ever met.
Oh.
Really?
And I thought at first, there's a mother cat and her son, and she's like half the size of her offspring. Yeah.
Oh.
And she actually, her name's Callie. And she rips little clumps of her fur out
of herself.
Yes.
Oh,
and glad it's not of the other cat. He might not like that, but
well, we've had that, but that's not a story.
That's usually called fighting.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe she did it as a nervous habit when people aren't around. I still haven't ruled out that that's true, but I think I finally solved the issue. Sorry, a little aside here. I think I finally solved the issue of why they shed more. I don't actually think they do. Yeah. I think they don't know how to groom properly.
Oh,
because Callie showed up on our doorstep pregnant. And I think she's a very small cat. I think that she probably became a kitten. I think she became an orphan very, very young.
Sure.
Maybe, 6 weeks or earlier, probably earlier.
Yeah.
And somehow made it and everything. But I don't think she ever learned how to groom properly.
Because her mom did do it.
Right. Yeah. And I thought about that. I'm like, well, but then why does Roger, that's the offspring, why does he shed so much? And I thought, well, where did he learn how to groom? From his mom.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't, and he doesn't rip bits of his fur out and everything, but I also don't catch him grooming that often.
Sure.
Oh.
And I just thought, you know what? I don't think they shed more. I think they just consume less of it.
Yeah.
And
condensed.
Yeah. There's less of that. Maybe there's not even less of that, but I think most of it gets, it ends up in the litter box basically for most cats.
Yeah.
And for my cats, it just ends up as tufts of fur everywhere.
Yeah.
And I thought, I guess that's part of how, whatever that's what you're working from. And that's all that she knew. And so therefore that's all that he knew.
Right.
And, that kind of changed my perspective on them a little bit. Segue into our topic, but that kind of affected how I looked at them, and I'm just a little bit more patient with it.
Sure.
I mean, I can't do anything about it anyway. Got to clean up after them more. They're not even really, they didn't start out as my cats. They're my mom's cats, and I take care of them now because she's, in a assisted living and everything.
Sure.
But yeah, it just sort of made me think, okay, well, I have a little bit of a different attitude on this now. And, I tell people all the time that they shouldn't feel like they're dumb because they never learned a particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being dumb is about ability and willingness to learn.
It's the willful rejection, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And also just, when you're confronted with new learning, like how well can you take it in? How much can you, some people panic, because they have this narrative about themselves. Other people, you're just convinced that you're not going to handle it well, or you don't know, or you're doing fine with it, but you compare that to other people and you think, oh, I'm not doing as well as these people or whatever. And
which is bad.
If I feel like that doesn't work for people, it doesn't work for cats either.
Right.
So yeah, they just don't know how to groom. Right? So
you can help your cats out.
Yeah.
That they sell,
I can brush them. You mean?
No, well, yes,
I do that.
But they sell a little fake cat tongue that you can basically like lick your cats. It's the funniest thing. Like you're gonna find it on the internet because it's just so it's good. Then you can be connected to your animals, man.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like that's maybe for kittens. Like these cats are both like seniors.
So yeah, well,
so
they're always your children. Like
Yeah.
I'm just now trying to imagine like like train your parents to like how to like use a phone properly or whatever.
Sure,
like, not like you got this look of horror on your face briefly there when I train your parents. Like, what are you going to say right now?
Bum fights? What are you trying to
no artificial tongue for your parents, man.
Just a real thing. Like
I never want to hear that phrase again.
No. Which one? Just the real thing?
All of that. No artificial tongue for your parents.
Yes. Yeah, no flowers from Algernon, no artificial tongue for your parents. All right.
I missed half of that, but I'm just going to let it go.
Flowers for Algernon?
Yeah.
It's a book.
Oh, I thought it sounded familiar.
We don't read here. We would just watch movies.
Yeah. So have you seen this Flowers for Algernon?
Yes. You got me.
Yes. Finally.
Oh, yay. Okay. But Katie hasn't. So.
Yeah.
Or Kate.
Yeah. It's a dumb guy who gets smart. And the repercussions of like.
He's not dumb.
He's just misunderstood.
Is he
just hasn't learned? No. I mean, he
was like slow, right?
Impaired.
Yeah. And he suddenly becomes like it's kind of like Lawnmower Man. You ever see Lawnmower? Have you seen Lawnmower Man?
No.
Damn it.
It's ongoing.
It's the same
Lawnmower
idea.
Man?
It's the same. Yeah. But they use like some kind of technology to implant like, knowledge into him and some of that.
Right. And like fix the problem. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then it reverts.
Yeah.
Or I don't know in that
or
Lawnmower
no,
Man,
he like transcends to the digital world or something like that. I forget.
I like how that's always in the 80s, especially that's viewed as transcending. Even certain like, Peter Thiel types, they think that's transcending somehow. I'm like, all right, y'all
becoming digital.
Yeah. I think they're just overly nerdy. And because they have billions of dollars, people listen to them for some reason.
Well, if you take the Tron like idea where like
from the 80s
and then if you can digitize yourself and then fix the error in your code and then you're not sick anymore when you come back to the real world. That's kind of like the idea, like,
Is that what Tron's about?
A little bit. They talk about it like briefly, like,
that's Tron Legacy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when
I was like Tron. I don't remember.
I just playing games, right?
Yeah.
And Moses has the little turning, like that was a South Park thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the Star Trek transporters do that too. It's like,
see, that's a crazy like idea. The whole dissecting yourselves into molecules and rebuilding yourself somewhere else, like that conundrum was like, are you the same person?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's why there's that one nurse who didn't. Was it a nurse? Somebody didn't take the transporter ever because
it was Dr. McCoy.
Was it McCoy? Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah, because he just didn't want to be torn apart and then reassembled. And like, is that you? Like, like where does your conscious and soul start and all that kind of stuff?
Which is funny because he used the transporter an inordinate number of times for someone who never wanted to use the transporter. But
because he had to. One was against his will too. Like the new rebuilds, which are not really Star Treks. But he's like, I don't want to do this. Oh, don't make me do this or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know Barkley was like that too. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Barkley
got smart too. That's the Flowers for Algernon. Remember that episode? Where he hooked up.
Oh yeah. I was like,
we had to watch more Star Trek.
We do. I'm just like watching the volley back and forth.
Yeah. You didn't think you knew anything about volleyball.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're right.
We're playing badminton.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually like ping pong.
Ping pong.
Ping pong.
Yeah.
That's how to say it.
Yeah.
I like ping pong.
I actually really like ping pong.
I suck at ping pong.
I'm pretty decent at it.
Yeah.
I think I'm also pretty decent at it.
Want to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Later on, we should see. This is the kind of stuff people want to see.
Yeah. Live stream ping pong.
Yeah.
We can find a place. Somebody's got to have a ping pong table, right?
This would make a decent ping pong table.
Here, I will say I'm pretty decent at it, but I don't know the rules. I just have fun.
The rules are super easy, so
hits once.
Learn that in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Get enough points and win.
If you knock the other person out, you win.
Like.
Well, you can either hit them with the ball, throw the paddle at them.
Oh, I can do
that.
Those are all
real. That's street rules.
Yeah.
That's my neighborhood. That's where
I played some ultimate frisbee. I can throw a ping pong paddle.
Or what you'd call actual guidelines.
In last week's episode, when you said something about guidelines, I almost asked you to say it in Barbosa's voice.
Yeah.
Guidelines.
Nice.
And then I'm just curious, because I know you guys gave some examples there, but like, what are some examples of limited perspectives like that are used well, because I almost feel like it can almost be frustrating as a viewer or reader that if you are watching from that limited perspective, but you sort of know story enough to know like around that limited perspective, like, is it frustrating? Maybe that's a bigger question than what we have time for, but
No, not at all. I mean, it's one of those things. If you use it effectively in a story, because again, you're trying to make someone feel something regardless when they're watching your story. So if you're
other than disgust with your production,
fair enough. But like, if you are trying to make them like frustrated that either you know what the character doesn't know, and you're watching them fumble through it, or if they don't want you to know until the end, and then like you get to the end and figure it out and everything. And especially if you can figure out at the moment when it happens, I think I've seen that done a bunch of times, and I love that. Like, you know, you can get that where you discover when they discover, like, oh, it is. And we've been at movie theaters too, where we're like, it's this. And we both like, you know.
Actually, while watching those Star Trek episodes the other night, I had a moment and the moment of dread when you know what is going to happen, but the character obviously doesn't know. And so I guess that was very emotionally impactful. And when I was saying I was dreading it, it's more so I was dreading seeing what the character was going to go through after experiencing it. It was, what is it? Inner light.
Yep.
So if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But
then you're like, you know, you'll get through it. It'll be okay. Character on the screen in front of me.
Very iconic
but they're
character.
emoting. Like, you know, it's all emotions, right? You know, it's all seen, because even though we're not on the Enterprise and that stuff's not really happening, you probably can associate. I know, right? If I could pump in the warp engine sound throughout my house, I would. I'm just saying. It's a very calming, like, I love it. You know, I've actually listened to, instead of white noise, I've listened to engine noises and just used that as background noise just to clear any other stuff out of my head.
With every so often, I'm giving it all she's got.
We don't have enough dilithium crystals. Like, you know.
Replace their dilithium crystals with Folgers. Let's see if they notice. But yeah, I think there are lots of good examples of how it's used well, I think. And yeah, I mean, my books, obviously.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I was thinking it.
But yeah, I mean, each scene that I write is from a different character's perspective. It's not first person. It's third person perspectival, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And so each scene, you're like, everything you know, it's through the filter of what that character knows. And that person is the one, you know, I sort of do a subtle thing with when they speak. I try to do, I don't always stick to this, but like if it's Roy, if it's from his perspective, it's Roy said. And if it's from someone else's perspective, it's like said Roy or whatever. I'll do that sometimes. So it's sort of more like, you know, I am this person, like that comes first or whatever in my brain. But I like doing that with my work. And it's like, there's one scene, I've mentioned the scene before, where one character's stowing away and you get everything. She only knows what she can see, and she's like in the hold of a ship and she doesn't know what's going on above decks. She's listening for what she needs to know. There's the plan, you know, that she's adhering to as much as she can, but a lot of it has to be improvised. And then you see it from the outside perspective from other people who can see what is going on, and they're the other part of the plan. But I felt like, you know, I did that fairly well. I even ran that in the role-playing game they're based on. I ran it that way, where I ran separate sessions with the different groups. Yeah. Which is really, there were 2 players, so with this different people.
Sure.
And it worked out pretty much exactly the way it worked out as I wrote it. I didn't have to change that much at all. So I felt like that worked out pretty well.
It added to the anticipation 100% for the character that's stowing away.
Yeah.
Like that
was a lot of people, they were on the edge of their seat,
seriously.
Know, like reading that. I was like, that's great feedback. Yeah. You know,
absolutely.
Especially because you care so much about that character too. And I feel like you're so worried. At least I was very worried about this character.
She is kind of like everyone's sort of favorite. So at least for that book.
And what do you mean?
It's
hard to write a character that's dead. Like,
it's not my favorite anymore.
That's good. You'll bring them back because, you know.
Yeah, I don't value death in stories.
No.
That's just a delay.
Team Koya here. But I also think that for your book too, even like knowing now what we know about the first book, Salil's perspective, I think, is kind of like, I mean, so important that you went and wrote the second book solely about her, right?
And I'm doing something, I'm sure that like sound like no one's ever done this. My prologue and epilogue are almost two different stories compared to the main story. And I'm doing that for each book. And all those prologues and epilogues should come together to kind of like paint the bigger overarching like bad guys and story that's going on that they all had to come together to face at some point, which I hope it pays off well and everything. I don't know if that's frustrating people, and it might be because I had somebody ask me like, are you going to come back to this? I'm like, eventually, yes. Like soon. Stop asking questions.
Yeah.
Later, we'll do fine.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that like there's a fine line between creating suspense and like being frustrating to a reader, right?
Right.
And being a bit new to the whole idea, like I've watched enough movies and like I feel like I have a fairly good hold on like storytelling. It's just that I'm new to the writing scene, what people actually want in writing when it comes to books. Cause I never read a lot of books when I grew up, but I know what I like in the story, you know, and I know like what you can do to create I don't want to say a twist or anything, but to just prepare them or slowly give them so they stay engaged and they wonder about that stuff. And I think that's what I'm trying to do. And hopefully it pays off. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say I'd say the pros and cons, what does limiting a perspective actually get you? Like, what can you use it for in a positive way in story? Like,
I mean, I do know that like for me, it's a story device at points, you know, especially because if you're following just one character, like you don't want to be like going off every little thing and telling every little side story and everything. It's like, no, sometimes you just got to focus down on that one person,
right?
You know, and that to me as a tool for telling a story is more important than, you know, just trying to give every perspective, because one, realistically, you can't give every perspective because then you have an encyclopedia, which is good for lore and good for world building. Like, cause if you have like, I've seen a lot of like series, Star Trek and, you know, Harry Potter and all this stuff. They'll make books just on the lore and it is every perspective, like, you know, and it's really cool, like to have that stuff. Cause sometimes you just want to learn about stuff.
And it's great fanfic fodder for people who do want to tell stories with different perspectives that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
I will add to that pros and cons, like specifically, I think we've kind of already talked about it. Like a major pro is built anticipation, right? Where it's almost like focusing so much on one thing. Like there's no opportunity to know what else is going on. And that sort of sets like, I mean, for a normal human, like that makes us anxious, right? Like not knowing something. We're imagining more than what the writer could even dream to write sometimes, or that the author could, you know, potentially think of. Like your reader will try to fill in the gaps. And it's almost like that anticipation will make them read faster to try to get through to find the next point. Yeah. And then a con, I think that is almost like the flip side of that is, what if you're focusing in on a character that people don't care about? And I don't have an example of that. I mean, well, actually, don't hate me. Don't hate me for this controversial thought. I usually, because I've watched Return of the King so many times now, I do often skip over Sam and Frodo parts because it's not as, the pacing isn't as quick for me.
It's not very dynamic.
And it's pretty depressing. Like it's not meant to be this happy part, right? Like they're going through part of the darkest like pieces of the journey that any of them can go on.
I will say too, though, that Peter Jackson specifically directing those has a habit, and you might know, I don't want to ruin it, but like
go for it.
He has a habit of trying to create drama by just slowing scenes down. I don't think it's a very good way to do it, But I mean, hell, if you look at the whole Greyhaven sequence, if you just sped it up to 1.5, it would be like normal people talking. That's funny. And I feel like it was really part of the direction that everyone should just speak slower and leave more dramatic pauses, and we'll fill in that with music or something. And so I could see if it's like that part of the story and it's darker, and he's like, I'm trying to make this more poignant by making it slow. But if you actually feel the slowness, you're like, we get back to the other stuff, please.
No, I think that's very well said, because I love like analyzing like this movie, especially like knowing that you're the reader, right? I'm the movie watcher, and you just don't like it. And so I think you're absolutely right that like, just because you're slowing down the pacing doesn't mean that you're like,
it doesn't create gravitas.
Yeah.
Gravitas is its own thing. Right. You cannot create by simply slowing down the film.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like your problem with 300 in the slow motion. Like, it's, you see these scenes.
I'm emphasizing it.
You're slowing it down for us. Like, right.
Taking me out of it by doing that.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Like that bullet time worked really well for like Matrix and stuff like that.
Oh, and they also weren't doing it for everything.
And that's fair and everything. But it's almost like it's hard because you bring in this new view of cinema and like a new perspective of like doing film and doing a shot. And then you do it next time and it's either like, okay, we've seen this already, like when you use it effectively, like that's another thing too. And you asked me that, but it's almost and I don't know how this fits. And maybe you guys can give me a little bit more of a insight. Like it's almost like you want limited perspective because ignorance is bliss. Like, you don't like want to know all this stuff. Even like as a reader, as a viewer, like you don't want to know everything.
Yeah. I mean, there's such a thing as the perspective is inherently limited by you have to read things in order. Like you don't know the whole story right at the get-go.
Yeah.
So that's its own kind of limited perspective. Yeah. So like the ways that you control that require limitation. You inherently have limits when you tell a story because you can't tell it all at once. And because you can't know it all immediately, that is a limitation. And so the way you reveal it, you choose what things to zoom in on, zoom out of, what things to frame. But by doing so, you create limits. And it's like, this is what's in the shot, but you therefore create a limit of what's not.
Sure.
And so with scenes like, the perspectives you choose and the things you choose to explore automatically rule out the things you're not exploring.
Sure.
So it's all a process of what's inside the frame and what's outside the frame, even if it's like the written word, what's in the text and what's not.
Right. I think did you say this earlier where it's like, it's kind of cool when you have scenes and then later on you see the other perspective or the pieces that fill in there and like, holy crap, the killer was in the room the whole time. Like, that kind of idea. And I find that also fascinating as the limited perspective becomes the full perspective as you build upon it,
Yeah. Where you're fitting all these pieces together. And like, that's one thing about where you said limited perspective creates anticipation for like some things that limited perspective is good for is foreshadowing, suspense. Like, so like giving little hints that you don't know the significance of them till later, that creates reread value too. And like people go back and like, I see it now.
Yeah.
Now I know what this is.
The planting of that seed. Definitely is really cool.
And also just like, if the characters had known this, then how much pain could have been avoided.
Right. I do think that it's a very big trope, like in horror. And so I have two examples. I'm saying two, so I make sure that I follow up with both of them because I think they're so.
Number one
being Jaws. I mean, so the anticipation of not seeing Jaws, Bruce, whatever his name is.
The mechanical thing was called Bruce.
Sorry. That you truly don't see it until the very end. And it's this giant beast and it just adds that anticipation throughout the entire thing. It doesn't really play into what you were just saying where it like.
No, but they could have solved a lot of that problem in Jaws if they had a bigger boat.
God damn it. But the second one, more so tied into what you were saying, is like if they'd known about this, sooner in the story, how much trouble could they have avoided?
Right.
There was, we just watched it this last Halloween. It was like the first orphan or the first.
Do
you remember? It was like
a covenant or something like that.
Yeah. I should really remember what it was. Maybe we could refigure it out and do a blip of what it's called. It was
this.
But there's a scene in there where, so it's this gal, it's like early 1900s. She's working as a nun, whatever that vocation is called. And she
what is it? What is it?
Blackadder joke. I don't want you to lose.
Okay. And she is falling prey to an agenda, right? That's all I'll say. But there's this one scene where she's doing her nun thing, like praying, whatever. I don't remember exactly what the scene is, but she's surrounded by candles. And as the camera zooms out, the candles form like the shape of what looks like a menacing, like monster mouth around her.
It's perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Right. Like the movie isn't great per se. It was fine, but that scene, and you pointed out to me, like
because I even said, "Oh, it looks like a mouth," and then it kept zooming out. We were all like, "Oh my god, it's a mouth!" Like it's
that's how using cameras, because every camera angle is a limited perspective,
right?
For sure,
right.
For sure.
But like you use that to great effect in a lot of times. Like someone's talked about shadow work in movies, like the Raiders of the Lost Ark uses shadows, silhouettes on walls and stuff a lot.
There's episode 1. They have the thing where
Star Wars?
Star Wars, yeah. Sorry. Star Wars.
Episode 1 of Indiana Jones.
I think it might have been Attack of Clones. Whenever he goes back to his mother, or he hugs him, and you can see the silhouette of Darth Vader. To show you, it's pretty cool. Like, and that kind of foreshadowing, and a lot of times, like limited perspective is necessary and worked best in like horrors, because again, like I think you said, not seeing the monster and there is such a pivotal thing. Cause a lot of times when you see the Muppet that it eventually is, you're like, all right,
You can imagine.
That's back when effects sucked.
They're using real animatronics though. But like, I feel like the viewer, the reader, the consumer, viewers or readers, can imagine worse than what's actually there.
Yes.
And I think using that to like our advantage as the like creator, as the writer, knowing that if you do it well, the anticipation that the reader creates is like way more intense than what we might be able to create.
Absolutely.
Well, to that point, I don't know if you see this in film a lot. It's kind of implied in text if you look at books, where someone's going to give someone bad news, like so-and-so died or whatever. And in film, you see this a lot where they zoom out where you can't hear what any of them saying.
Yes.
Because anything that they would actually say is not going to be as poignant as what you're imagining.
Right.
They just let your own feelings fill in that gap without actually having to write anything. You can do it in text, like, oh, now I have to inform this person, and then just not actually show that part.
Right.
And then the aftermath, maybe you see but
the reaction.
Yeah. And then you just imagine it. But that's a clever form of limited perspective.
Another one too, to almost that same effect, is when people are like either shell shocked or become disoriented to the point where they can't hear or see anything. And they're just like, do you have an example for that? Yeah,
I was actually thinking about the season premiere of season 2 of Lost, because I talk about Lost every episode.
Well, that's not Fifth Element. What else?
I almost mentioned it earlier. It has a place here, but
they're like, there's this character Desmond who's he's in this bunker, and the main characters are like, they're breaking into this bunker and they don't know he's down there, but he doesn't know who it is. So they come down, and he has this whole like music and PA system and there's like lights and whatever. And he's been a soldier before. And so he's alone in this place, and he uses what's actually a really smart military tactic. He floods it with bright light, and then he cranks the music super loud. So he's basically removing 2 of your 5 senses just because the unknown, like now you can't see him, you can't hear him. He can move more freely.
Yeah.
But also, that's scarier to the audience watching this, because like, okay, now you can't hear and you can't see what's going on. And like, it's definitely a military tactic. It's anytime you want people to not be able to know what's going on, you just remove whatever senses you can.
Disorientate.
And you exactly. And, I think that it's a point that Bill Burr made in terms of like, guns. He's like, I want a 22. And the reason is like, my gun's on my nightstand or whatever. Okay. Like someone comes in. Okay. It's dark. And okay, you fire that first shot and now you can't hear.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Now you can't see and you can't hear. And there's someone breaking in to attack you. Right. With a 22, you can still kind of hear. It's like, that's a little bit damage. Good point.
Gotta love Bill Burr.
Bill Burr's great. Yeah. Comedians have another wonderful, like just the way they see their world and the way they just make it funny because of either the absurdity or just kind of their perspective, which is always kind of cool. And
comedy's all about zeroing in on particular perspectives.
Sure. Yeah.
And like that's that and timing,
timing. Yeah. Timing's half the battle, man.
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say too, one of the things that I think works in as far as like sound and maybe not so much music, but sound is when you have, a sound that is unfamiliar and that is, and when you have to figure it out because you have no idea what the sound is or where it's coming from.
Right.
Like, and, I think they do a lot of, a good job when they used to do music, for like Aliens or like even Terminator, which we were talking about the other day, is that they'll use things that are abnormal, like for sounds and everything. They have this thing that makes that, I can't even reproduce it, but like, sound like that. Yeah. And it's like a
Doctor Who theme.
Yeah, that too. And it's like this circle with like different size, like metal rods and everything. And they took a violin bow to it.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah.
And I don't
saw one on Storage Wars. Oh, this was in my storage locker.
Valued at $2. But it's kind of cool when they go to that further step to try to make sounds that are so out of the norm that it creates that effect of the unfamiliar, and then you don't know what it is.
It's like unsettling.
It's very unsettling. Yeah.
Or like I think it's the sound of a fox barking sounds like a scream.
A scream.
Oh yeah, like
Yes.
And they use that a lot in like British productions and stuff because I don't know why
they have a fox.
They have a lot of foxes.
I think they did. That's literally like what kings love to do, right? They went on
hunting for foxes. Yeah. Fox and hound.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of foxes scream then, I guess.
I've heard it sounds like a wailing woman sometimes, too, which is crazy. Like you don't want to hear that in the middle of the woods.
No.
Yeah. Like you see that. I've seen that in a number of things that are basically like British horror.
Sure.
Because is it a fox or is it a scream?
It's both.
And even if you can sort of, okay, that's a fox, but then it almost sets you up to wait to hear a scream.
Yeah.
So it's like anticipation, uncertainty, and you always see the character react like,
Right.
Like they're not used to it. It's unfamiliar, especially if they're from the city or something, not used to hearing foxes. Right. So yeah, like that's one of the like the big ways I see that used in like film and TV and stuff. But in books and it's harder to convey that in books.
Sure.
Because you've got to use language to convey that, but you also don't want it to be blunt.
Right.
There's a lot you can do with visuals and sound and even just actor facial expressions that you can't do in books.
Right.
So you have to convey like through feelings or whatnot. Like, and like, how do you guys look at that? Like, how do you do that yourselves? What are good examples you've seen in other stuff?
I feel like for me, one way of evoking, like, I'll use like, I guess, sadness, not so much fear. Because I don't have a lot of, I've not written a lot of like horror. I do like writing like scary moments in stories. Like I did that in Valkas of the Greater Wilds where the Pobdi scene.
Which you do a very good job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It was so fun, which maybe means I would love to do horror monster stories.
Gotta get it out.
Like, I guess.
Yeah, I might do it. I might do that at some point too.
Just because it seems fun, something different.
I want to hurt somebody. No,
or the intensity of it, the unknown, and really writing something to make the reader uncomfortable, but in like a horror aspect, not like anything else. Yeah. And I think that it's a punchier language, but I found that when it comes to like more like emotional things. And when I say emotional, I'm like the sad, like depressed, apathetic, melancholy spectrum, that I find that I more so like to hone in on the like, and the environment, let's say, or like slow it down and use like, I don't want to say like poetic imagery, not disorient the reader, but focus in on things that bring a sense of like stillness in. And I feel like that sometimes can evoke that apathy, let's say, of like sadness. That's just one example.
Yeah. Just sort of like, what we were talking about when Nathan was here about like backgrounds where like someone's just found out someone's died and the background is just empty.
Yes.
It's like you're eliminating, it's like you're effectively eliminating their awareness of their surroundings because they're so wrapped up in the feeling.
That's exactly it. Thank you for remembering that. I appreciate
Good job.
that.
I do on this podcast and remember stuff.
One of the things too is in the idea of limited perspectives of when you are witnessing someone else's pain and the only thing you can like do is see that outward display of it. Like you can't really know what they're feeling. Like is somebody, lost, like I always wondered my mom when I was like 5 years old, my parents, my mom, my sister went on a bike ride to the downtown area of the city I lived in. And I decided halfway like through their ride that I wanted to go on that bike ride too. So I got on my little bike that literally was this big.
Training wheels and all.
Yeah. And I rode down the way they went and everything. And I got lost for the entire day, but I'm just having an adventure. Like, I wasn't worried or sad until like started getting dark and then the sun came down. And, like I came home, I got the only time I've been in the cop car, in the backseat of a cop car was when I was 5. And, so they brought me home and my mom's hysterical. She's crying and it's a horrible thing. And now I feel really bad about, but at the time, like, I didn't know what she was feeling. I was like, I was just gone, Mom. I'm back home. What's the deal? Like, that perspective, I don't have what her feelings. I don't know what it's like to lose a child. Like, even temporarily, she thought it was dead. I mean, I was a cute kid, so someone's going to kidnap me. So like,
nobody did.
This is before
maybe you're not as cute as you thought you were.
Right.
I'll show you pictures, man. It's impressive.
This is going dark.
It's impressive. Oh my God. Okay.
But yeah, it's just one of those
humble one. No.
Super humble.
Yeah.
But it's that thing,
1-year-old me was hotter than 1-year-old you.
That's objectively true. I'm just kidding.
I do think that's a really good example though of just like that, a limited perspective, right? Like your mom, hysterical, right? Like, and as a kid, you wouldn't have understood what that was like. And nor should you have, right? Because you were a child that was just going on an adventure that it started to get scary only when it started to get dark.
And again, because her perspective is limited, her imagination is filling in all the gaps.
Exactly.
I can imagine. Yeah. I still have to apologize at least once a year to her. So like,
you come and do for your annual apology. Is this it
she
right
stands
here?
on. She's just like, come on.
And we did a whole podcast about it, Mom. That's got to be good for at least 3 years.
Yeah. I'm racking up points. The internet's going to see this. They're going to feel bad for you too. Don't worry.
If we're all sorry at the same time, does that count for more?
I hope so. I mean, I'll show it to her.
1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry for Mario.
I'm
not sorry.
Of course he's not. He'll do it again.
Had a great day.
He had an awesome bike ride.
Yeah, let's do wheelies and everything.
Yeah. But like, it's funny with some of like the visual perspective stuff. I'm remembering too, like, the things you can do with lighting, like we're talking about shadow in productions, and you do it in theater too. But there's it written into one of the original Sherlock Holmes stories was another element of like someone's giving an account of their being attacked and, her husband was killed and everything. It turns out she's lying, but they're trying to figure out, well, why was he killed and she was not, and like, what would they have been thinking, these intruders or whatever. And there was the thought of like, well, so she was kind of backlit or something. Okay. So they couldn't really clearly see her face.
Oh, sure.
I don't remember exactly the details, but they couldn't see her face. And like, they may have been unimaginative enough to think that she saw them the same way where she couldn't see their faces. And so they left her alive because she's not really a witness then.
Right.
And so just that writing that into a story where like you could actually see that happening in real life.
Yeah.
Like you can actually use that in text, you can use it in movies and theater, but just we all know like when the sun goes down, maybe it's time to pull the blinds or whatever.
Yeah.
Because now everyone can see you suddenly. You're sort of lit up. Whereas in the day, like it's a lot harder.
Which isn't illegal, by the way, to I joke about this because your parents.
No, so that's why I was in the cop car the second time.
No, not that. Yeah. Sorry. No, this is totally, it's kind of the same thing. So your parents told us that story about their neighbor who'd walk around naked in their house and everything. And she had the blinds wide open, but it's not illegal to be in your house. You shouldn't be looking in that window.
Yeah.
Like that's so it's just kind of connected.
Yeah.
But not really.
I had a whole story I'll tell you some other time, maybe on a live stream.
Oh,
yeah. Like that was like I was naked in my room and eventually the sun went down and I had failed to pull the blinds and antics ensued. So I'll get into detail another time. But like, it's like, I was just reading. I didn't.
Yeah, stuff we can't see. That's the thing. Stuff that we can't do on the internet or put it on there. We can talk it all about as much as we want. And Discord or whatever.
Yeah, Discord or a live stream or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll plan to do that at some point soon because we all want to.
Yeah. Sign up for the newsletter. Check Discord. Well, we're gonna do something like that. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like, even just stuff like language, like Darmok Enchilada Tanagra,
I love you so much. Like, that's another episode.
Star Trek.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Where that's all about different like perspectives.
Yeah. Cultural perspectives, right?
Right. Right. And idioms. Like you guys make references all the time. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Sure.
Any kind of inside joke, things like that.
It's actually Archer has the show, the animated show.
I've seen it.
We got one.
There's an episode on there where Archer is on a deserted island where it has Filipino like pirates on there. And there's one guy that's like the translator for him because he's suddenly the leader of this pirate gang.
Oh, I remember that.
And he keeps trying to tell him like idioms. And the guy's like, what don't you understand? The idioms don't translate like them. And Archer realizes, I guess I only talk in idioms. Like and he laughs about it when he's like under, gunfire and it's so Archer, but
phrasing.
It's a good show.
There's one that all three of us have seen. I also wanted to mention, cause you brought up music. One of you brought up music.
I brought up sound, but like, I didn't have an example for music.
Sure. Yeah. No, I personally love when certain themes get played. It's like the Peter and the Wolf thing that introduces or sort of highlights a character with their theme that aren't present in like the existing scene, but they're being mentioned or something about them. Like the theme is sort of telling you like they're still here, they're okay. It's used in what's the last movie in the Dark Knight trilogy? Dark Knight Rises?
No, it's
they're all the same.
It's Batman Begins,
Dark Knight,
and Dark Knight. Oh, maybe it is. Okay,
we'll go with that.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the movie, like I think it's such a fantastic film. Whether or not you like it, it's very long. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it's very long. But I think it ties together the entire trilogy, like just in a very like it brings everything back, and I think it ties up everything just in a way that not many third movies and trilogies are able to do these days, because I think Christopher Nolan takes his time. He only like puts out a movie when he knows that he has a story to put out. But musically, I think it's one of Hans Zimmer's like best works, not because of like re-listenability. Like you can't really listen to that soundtrack outside of the movie unless you just like that kind of like music. But when you're watching the movie, it brings back themes from even the like first film of like characters and different themes that they have. And there's a moment at the end where the theme plays when you think Bruce is, I'll just say it, dead and like gone, like, and so you can hear that theme and you know he's okay. You like to think that he's okay, but I think because of the music and that tiny addition of that tiny little theme, like that's the director's like secret, like, don't worry, he's all right. And then you do find that out at the end.
Do you think they did it not just then for the audience, but also for Michael Caine's character? Like they played it as almost a sorrowful moment for him because it had to be, it's tragedy with Bruce's like song or Batman's like song for Alfred.
For Alfred?
Maybe. I don't know. I would have to watch that scene again, but that's why I feel like they do, not just for us, but for...
I don't know if it's in that scene, but it's in the scene where he's flying away with the nuke. And it's not really explained how that works out, but there's a certain like tone and whatnot that's played during that scene that makes me think that you should know then that he's actually okay. So that Alfred scene, don't give me, I will start crying.
I failed you.
You said
my son.
You said it's hard to think of musical examples. How about like duets and things like Somebody That I Used to Know?
Oh, right. Song,
where you've got two different people telling their side of the same story.
Oh, sure.
Delimited perspectives. And, a lot of the time, especially with interpersonal drama, we hear one side and we think we know, and then we start judging things.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes if you're like, okay, I know this person's not lying, therefore it's like there's a cone of truth. I'm going to say that's a phrase right now.
Sure.
Where it's like the truth is between here and here. And if it's anywhere between here and here, I'm going to take their side. It's like, I don't care where in here it is, like or the cone or anywhere in here is like the wrong way to go. And the truth is in there. Like, okay, yeah, you're in the wrong.
Or even kind of like the opposite of that too, where it's just like, you like if two people break up and everything, and one is maybe like your family member, another one is the outsider, but you're like, no, we knew they're fine, but we have to be nice to you because you're our family member.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I see that all the time where, I have to be fine with this person because that's the, you got to dance with the one who brung you. But, but also like, well, we still like you. We still want to be friends with you because we know you don't suck.
Yeah.
I always like being like, in those situations. I've often been the person, the other person's family liked.
Oh yeah. It's like, well, because you're just so darn likable.
Yeah. Right.
So we have you back every week. I don't know if you know, but you've been a guest this whole time. No, no. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's just the perspective, the limitation of that perspective is based on the person receiving it, I guess, almost. I don't know.
Yeah, there's that, another Babylon 5 thing, like understanding is a three-edged sword, your side, their side, and the truth.
Yeah. Or something similar to that. Not that, like,
I don't think that's
there's three truths.
I don't think that's an original phrase, or it's a paraphrase of something else,
Sci-fi version
and
in space.
It really, like, it's really funny to me that that's a quote, and then aren't three-edged like daggers like banned under like the Geneva Convention or something?
Oh yeah, the spiral ones.
Yeah,
because they leave a gash that can't be healed or sealed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that we have that because no one ever violates the Geneva Convention, as you know.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have brought that up. And then I think we can probably fit in like one more example before we talk about like the function of this more.
I got one. Do you have one?
It's one that it's probably the same one that Jojo Rabbit.
Oh yes, yeah.
Can we steal this last one? When I say we, I know you haven't watched Jojo Rabbit yet.
No,
have you seen it?
I have not seen it. Wow.
It's it's hard to tell what you might like and what you don't like.
I'm telling you, you would like it.
It's such good storytelling.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's going to be superheroes or cartoons. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, it's both. It's about a rabbit who was a Nazi once.
Wait, what are you trying to get me to watch?
Yeah. Actually, I have another Nazi one, but go ahead. I do.
Oh, okay. There are actually two. There's two. For some reason, both having to do with Germany youth. I guess one might not be, but actually I think the Schindler's List one is a better.
You saying Germany youth because you're avoiding saying the other word that usually goes before youth.
Maybe.
No. Jojo Rabbit's a great example. And you tell them like,
so throughout the movie, the director, so it's with limited perspectives, right? So main hero is a kid, who is being raised in, 1930s, 40s, time in Germany. And his imaginary friend is Hitler. And Hitler is played by Taika Waititi, who is also the director. Fantastic movie because visually, I think I'll say a masterpiece. I I guess I might throw that around like not so lightly. I might say it a lot more than.
No, you only say it for certain things, honestly.
This is one that I agree with because throughout the movie, I don't want to say too much because it genuinely is a major spoiler and I don't want to spoil it.
Right.
But
just say watch.
Focus in on shoes and how much the camera focuses on shoes throughout the entire thing. Right. And that payoff, well, when I say payoff, it's a punch. It's a punch. And so I'm not going to say any more than that because it's so well done. And this is one that you just have to experience yourselves. But it's that visual of throughout the movie, from a kid's perspective, you think that it's something that's just there, that it's just always naturally there. And then it comes around in a way that you just don't expect at the end. And I think that even is a lesson transcends from that because, I mean, as kids, we see things happening all the time and then we don't realize the weight of it usually until we're older in some capacity. Or further along in life. I don't know. So
what would you say the function of that is in that example? Like
the function of that, it's almost mean from the director's or from the writer's perspective. Like they didn't need to make that moment hit so hard, but I think they did because the kid learns a lesson from it that if you dive too far into extremism, let's say, that it turns everything that like you loved at some point and cherished and needed, that it severs it. Mm-hmm. I'm making a lot of generalizations
so
here.
Just focusing too much, like making one thing too central to your identity severs a lot of connections to other aspects of reality.
Yes.
And the one thing I think too is that you can tell a lot of emotions through just your feet, like, dance and like, cause you can, somebody's personality, you can tell by like, if they're kind of kicking their feet or their feet are hanging over like an edge and everything and they're kicking their feet, that's usually like a sign of like happiness or just kind of joviality, what have you. And I really think that, and I hate saying there's a lot of life in, the way we do anything, like whether we like us Hispanics and like we talk with our hands or like, Italian people
in general. Yeah.
I know military listeners actually watch hands and feet more than facial expression.
No way.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, so you can tell a lot by just, observing those, because what they say, it's like kind of hard to lie with some of your mannerisms. Like they say, like there's a game called LA Noire.
Yeah.
And like you have to tell if people are lying or not so you can get more information out of them. And you can see them, they'll say something and they'll like look down or whatever. And it's like sometimes there's a psychology to it all. Like if you look down, it's usually you're lying. If you look up, it's usually the truth and stuff like that. Look
to the right, you're like trying to summon up a memory or something like that.
Yeah. It's all that kind of stuff. But
there's a show Lie to Me.
Lie to Me?
Wasn't that I don't know.
Was that a
people tell us in the comments? It was, I think.
Oh, okay. Not Would I Lie to You, which I'm always talking about.
Yeah.
People don't use a lot of those mechanics in there because it's, it's a game show.
Right.
Don't cheat.
Sorry, I was going to say the other Germany one, which was Schindler's List. And the thing that I was going to talk about was that it's all black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they only have one thing that they ever colorized in that, and it's the red jacket from the girl. And you follow, like, it's Schindler and he's helping all the Jews try to like get in his factory so they wouldn't go to the concentration camps. And they would show throughout it there, like Schindler would see the girl with a red jacket and you see her in the concentration camps. And then he would see the jacket later just by itself.
In a pile.
Yeah. And you don't see anything that happens to that girl, but you know exactly what happened to that girl. Yeah. Like it is such a powerful thing. I mean, there's reasons why that movie won awards and everything.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the soundtrack, don't even get me started.
I know in Band of Brothers, there's a scene in like the end of episode 3.
Yeah.
Where this guy, they're back in England briefly and this guy's going to collect his laundry. And the woman who runs the place is like, like, what about this one? It's one of yours, right? And she's like, you couldn't help me with a few more, could you? And basically he ends up paying for and picking up all the laundry of all the people who they're not all dead, but they're all casualties.
Sure.
It's a common misconception, by the way, that casualty means death.
Sure.
It means you're taken out of the fight.
Oh.
Right.
So you could actually be a casualty of different battles.
Sure.
Because, you get healed up and you go back to fight.
Yeah.
But all the people who were not able to pick up their laundry.
Wow.
And so you're using, and you're just like scrolling through all the names on all the uniforms. And It's just calling them out. So just, that kind of focusing on objects like that, for that kind of purpose, like show who's not there. And in your head why they're not there, like just in a nebulous category, like they're either dead, they're wounded in a hospital somewhere or whatever. And I think that, that all kind of points to just the selection process of how you tell a story. Like, it doesn't all have to be just told.
Yeah.
You can pick and choose things, and that allows your reader or your listener or your viewer to kind of fill in and project. It's like you're using the reader as an additional tool to tell the story. You're letting them do some of the work.
Yeah.
And people feel more invested when they're doing some of the work, when they're sort of steered down this path, it's, even to this point of, a darker example, brainwashing. You don't just do that by doing it all for people. You kind of like steer them into certain things that are easier to believe or perceive or whatnot. And you just sort of organize their trip through it.
Right.
But the fact that they're participating in it makes it stick more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So it's almost like the limited perspective has so much more weight than we give it credit for. It is that show don't tell, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of a form of manipulation, which doesn't not even just negative connotation, but just like tweaking someone's perception to where they're retelling the story in their own head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's solidifying in their head too, which every time they think about it, it becomes more and more like real in a way.
I think one of the negatives of that, if you're not doing it well, is contrivance.
Ooh,
things
tell me
feel
more.
Too contrived, where this character's perspective was limited this way, but it seems like, would they really have stuck to this perception of things? Because you can think of other things like, but they knew this and they saw that and they did that and said, I'm never going to make that mistake again. And here they are making that mistake again because it keeps the story where the writer wants it to go. So there are ways that storytellers can try to use limited perspective to manipulate and keep the story going, but where it's, I see your hands moving behind the screen. Like it's too contrived, or there's something they overlooked or something like that. And so that's one of the drawbacks. Again, that's just a part of storytelling. You said, you were talking about video games a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And about like sandbox versus on rails.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's sort of like if you're trying to do both, like you're putting the sandbox on the back of a flatbed car on rails. It's like, I'm noticing this looks a lot like a train here. You're putting me in a sandbox, but there's definite edges to the sandbox. And it's definitely going that way. It's not a real sandbox, though, the
illusion of freedom.
Exactly. Yeah. I see that in role-playing games a lot, where the game master is like, well, it's like you can do whatever you want, but it always ends up conveniently being between this extreme and that extreme. And this one and this one seem to form these nice parallel rails. It's exactly where you want it to go. It happens.
Right. But it's almost, to be a DM or GM, it is kind of difficult because you had to have that limited perspective for them, because you can't give away the game. You can't tell them exactly what's going to happen, but you're just hoping to come on, get over here. Herding cats.
Where the occasional nudge just turns into an actual shove.
But it also depends on your players too, though, because it's like, who do I get to murder today? Like, that's like, I want to roll some dice. Like,
murder hobos.
Yeah.
And also you get those players who, as soon as they sense or even just believe that they're being manipulated down a particular path, they'll rebel and do the opposite.
I wonder who that's like.
What the hell are you doing?
Not me. I'm a team player. What are you talking about? We have friends who do that.
We've all met those people.
Yeah. I also think that one of those perspectives that where you think you're doing the right thing in the story, or And then it ends up being, I'd say it's almost like a twist, but it's like you think you're doing the right thing, but then you drop the bomb on Hiroshima. Like, it's just one of those things. No. I mean, to that aspect, like they don't know what they're delivering. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're carrying or stuff like that. I can try and think of a good movie that's like that, but it's just like, it's like, especially in military stuff, it's like you only have the information you need to know.
Yeah.
And then do your job. Like that's it, Right. Like I said, I can't think of a good movie that does that or a book or anything.
I think actually Ender's Game, even though we just brought it up last week.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah. So I know you haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it or read it.
But basically, there's this whole, I'm going to say propaganda thing happening in the beginning of the book where actually you'll explain it better. Oh. I think you will explain it better. Yeah. Sorry.
So
yeah. Throwing it back.
So Ender's Game and everything, they're training these kids to be leaders and everything inside this battle school, so they're throwing them through all these like different things. And then they get promoted to a different battle school where it's like the final like test. And then they have all these, kids because they needed people who would follow orders, but wouldn't question too much, and stuff like that.
So to be within
but they had to be
range.
Smart enough. Yeah. And they're good at playing games, I guess, like that was kind of the idea. And so they do this whole thing and they finally get to the final battle, whatever. They get to the final like test, and you can see like there's all the important people are all watching them like, well, why do we got an audience today? And so they do this whole thing and they get to the planet, spoilers, and
major spoilers.
They destroy the planet. And like, yeah, we won. And they're like, but
they think it's just a game.
Yeah. And then they find out they've been the entire time since they got to the second part of that school, they've been controlling real people and giving real orders. Right. And they destroyed an entire race of beings.
And not only did they destroy an entire race of beings, they sacrificed like 90% of their own soldiers to do it.
Right.
They thought it was a game.
But and all they cared about was winning.
Yeah.
All they cared about was winning. And they did it right, but they might have saved billions of people because of it,
Right.
Yeah. So who's the right and wrong and everything, but you're doing on the information that you have.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's sort of like those experiments about like who would deliver an electric shock to someone for giving the wrong answer. Like they did experiments on that. And what they were really testing was how much would someone just obey unthinkingly these orders to hurt other people without really understanding what they were doing if they were just because it was the order.
Or what's the it's a joke where it's like 3 FBI agents were coming in for their final test, and the first guy walks into the room, comes out crying because they told him they told each one of the candidates that you have to go in there and whoever's in there you have to kill. So the first guy goes in, comes out crying, can't do it. Second guy goes in there, comes out, couldn't do it. Third person, who happened to be a female, goes in there. And then they're waiting and they hear a lot of screaming and like doing a lot of commotion going on. And the girl comes out full of blood and everything. And they go, what happened and everything is like, you put my husband in there and then you gave me blanks and then I had to beat him to death. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's just pretty funny. Yeah.
Man.
Limited perspective.
I really didn't think we were going to have like this wide range of examples for limited perspective and how like they can be used, I guess. Like
when we haven't even covered visual art.
I know.
Like holograms and those sculptures where if you move over here, it's a completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I do. Oh, 4D cinemas also.
Oh yeah. I want to talk about, so we're going to have to come back to this because next time we'll talk about the visual parts of it, like the cool things. Because 4D cinemas is like the chairs that move.
Oh, okay.
Like that. Or the new ones where it's like that super wide where they actually there's a normal like screen and then they extend it out the sides for God knows why. Like you don't need this extra information. Like,
but it's there. Like, like some good stories provide extra information, even when you don't need it, just to increase the realism.
Ooh.
That doesn't help in movies. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. That just like, cause that's what that's the camera. Like, you need to focus people because you're going to be like looking around, just trying to see everything.
I like doing it in role-playing games and in my stories.
Sure.
Like you go to a new location. What are the rumors?
Yeah.
Now some of those rumors might be based in something real. Others are just tall tales and, like which things do they follow up on? But it makes the world feel more enriched.
Sure. And that's a little different. That's a little more interactive, I think. Right. So that's why that would work better. But another time, maybe we'll speak about games and some of that.
So I'm also just thinking, this is just what is your opinion on this? That limited perspectives are almost a necessary element of story.
I think it's a natural part of life. It's one you can't avoid. So you can either try to use it for your story, or you're going to have to just be tripping over it the whole time.
Sure. Yeah.
So make it work for you, so it doesn't work against you.
Yeah.
But there are some really ham-fisted ways of doing it.
Sure.
So that'd be my take, really.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because again, like difference between sandbox and there's a purpose for sandbox games, but linear, I just want to not that I don't want to think or make my own choices, but there's something that the people are trying to tell. There's a story that they're trying to tell.
Right.
And it's kind of like the whole idea when you have open world and okay, we got an open world, finish the first quest and everything. Look at all these side quests, and you do all the side quests, and then you get back to the main story and you're overpowered, dead. It's not like a challenge anymore.
Right. Or else it turns into what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do?
Don't just start that again.
It's got to be some kind of decision making, and the person telling the story is supposed to be making a lot of decisions about what to emphasize, what to de-emphasize, how much to address when they pee or whatever.
Yes.
How to highlight the food or the red jacket or whatever.
Yeah. And I think that if you give them, it's like giving somebody a puzzle, especially with video games, giving them a puzzle, giving them something to do, giving them a mystery, story to enjoy, and then letting them enjoy that, and don't make them do too much work. There are things that are asked for that, and that's fine. Those are games and stuff like that, but not with a lot of art. When it comes, at least that's my perspective,
When there's such a thing as limiting information for the purpose of a surprise reveal.
Yes.
The surprise reveal or revealing it, or the twist or whatever, just, I would run into this problem in my own stuff of I feel like everyone's discussing the plan too much and then enacting the plan, because that's the role playing holdover.
Right. And
I edited that out. I started doing it where it's we have to plan this, and then you jump to they're carrying out the plan. You don't know what the plan is as a reader, but you're just seeing each piece fall into place, and so it's this surprise reveal. There's more suspense. I mean, mystery and suspense is a huge part of why you use limited perspectives, but also just camera angles. I mean, we use it in sports.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hell, just to tell what's going on.
Yeah. I also think that in my main character, Salil, she doesn't always think through things. So it was actually kind of a lot of fun just to kind of let her what's she going to do? And just let her let that organically just happen.
Yeah.
So the limited perspective almost was from my own self, just trying to think that then she'd do this and then she'd do this, and not tell her what she was going to do.
Character driven plot.
Yeah.
Even just having characters discover their own limitations. I have Koya in my books. It's how about I do this diversion? I'm going to go over here and blow this horn, whatever. She gets over there. It goes, it's oh wait, there's more to this than it looks like.
Just everybody thinks they can play, but until
oh no, I'm screwed.
So, but there's so much that I love talking about this, and like you said, I'm always surprised at what we come up with, because just having good minds to discuss this stuff is wonderful. And so I thank you guys for that. That's really nice.
Well,
all of our writing is going to grow from doing this all the time. That's another reason. Obviously, we like doing this together, but that's another reason to do it.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely. So for now, we are Bards and Balladeers, and we will be coming to you next week with something. This might be out of order. I'm not going to say what it is, because if we do it in out of order, then be like, you said we're going to do this.
Yeah, well, kind of a specific kind of limited perspective.
Sure.
Inner monologues is coming up soon.
And possibly some more author interviews too. Or not author, creative interviews.
Creator interviews.
Yes. So we're looking forward to that. And as always, we appreciate you sticking around, and we'll see you in a week.
I'm Oscar. This is Kate. This is Mario signing off.
See ya.
Bye.